everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. It has been a minute, and I am sorry about that. It was completely too much for me to do all the booktubeathon with the videos and all the family stuff happening. I ended up reading several books, which I will be talking about in my next video, and I got all my reading done, but I could not keep up with filming, and I was also in a really bad cell service situation, and then somebody brought something into the space where I was and knocked my computer off of a table, and it fell in just the right way, and then it wouldn't turn on. So that's happened. And then I got it fixed, and then it is now fixed. But it's been a very intense 2 weeks, and a lot of anxiety and stress has been happening in my life and in my family. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back with you guys. I am here today to do my July wrap-up, so let's dive in. I'm going to be doing these in order of least to most enjoyed. However, I had nothing lower than 3 stars for enjoyment. So I enjoyed all of these books. I just enjoyed some more than others. So the first one that I'm going to talk about was for the 24 to 48 hour readathon that I did. I failed completely at that one. I only ended up reading for 16 hours, and in those 16 hours I finished 1 book, and this is Patrick Süskind's Perfume. I enjoyed it. I felt sickened by it, and overwhelmed by it, and disturbed by it, and disgusted by it, and I felt a lot of hatred towards the main character, and I felt a lot of angst about the whole thing in general. I really was made to feel uncomfortable with this book. Like, it made me really uncomfortable, and I think that there was almost a point to that. Like, I think that it was supposed to make you feel a little uncomfortable. It definitely was made to make you feel like you were there. The smell descriptions, I don't think I've ever read a book that has so many smell descriptions in it, and they just made me nauseous and feeling overwhelmed, and sensory oriented was just like all over the place. So the premise of it is John the Baptiste is born into a world where no one wants him, and he is passed around from place to place, and as he is getting older, it comes to his attention that he has a gift for smell, and he ends up trying to bottle the perfect smell in a time when smell was wretched and awful and disgusting. And it gets into some murdery stuff, and some death, and some really terrible things, and it creeped me the hell out, and I recommend it. But you need to go into it with a strong stomach and know what you're getting into, because yes, I buddy read this with Adam from Memento Mori. I will link his channel down below. Then I did my 600 to 1,000 page book of the month. This month it was 793 pages, and it was Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I really enjoyed this. I really loved Molly as a character. Following her was just so wonderful and so sweet, and she was so kind and so genuine and so wonderful and so amazing, and I just adored her as a character. I loved the romance aspects of it. I really like romances in classics. I don't like them much other places. I just like them in classics. Her father is really, really sweet and kind, and he wants to do right by his daughter. When he remarries, he's trying to do right by his daughter. It just ends up being a little awkward. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was super sweet and super enjoyable, and I recommend it to anybody who's looking for a light, kind, good-hearted read. Then we have Weird in a World That's Not, Careers and Guides for Misfits and Fuck-Ups and Failures, and it's by Jennifer Romolny. And I will read this again before I go back into the workforce, however that looks. I don't know how it will look or when it will happen or what it's going to be. I don't even know, how long that's going to be for me, but I will reread this then. I'm a misfit. Like, I really am a misfit, and I also sometimes just feel like a failure. I don't think I am a failure, but I feel like a failure. I worked in retail for 10 years, so I know I can do it. It's something that I don't understand the politics of, and I don't understand bad-mouthing your coworkers and bad-mouthing people that you interact with, and it doesn't make sense to me. And this really kind of talked a lot about talking about things in a small talk kind of way and figuring out how to have conversations that don't put you into a position where you're getting the butt end of the conversation. Talked about how to write an email, how to express yourself to your boss, how to explain what you need, how to explain what you don't need, how to explain it to yourself. I really appreciated this book, and I thought it was a really good exploration of a subject that doesn't usually get discussed. So I did enjoy this. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. So far, all the books I've had, I've given 3.5 stars. Now we're getting into the 4-star reads. This is The Trouble with Goats and Sheep, and it's by Joanna Cannon, and I stared this down for a while. So I was in the bookstore and I was like, I want to read something, anything. I'm looking for a good book. And I was just hemming and hawing about whether or not this was the right book to pick up. And I couldn't figure it out. And so I ended up picking it up because, as the bookstore owner was like, you've picked it up like 4 times. Obviously, it's the book you want today. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And I had a bunch of, what are they called? Doctor's appointments that day, so I needed something to kind of spend time with in a doctor's office and everything like that. So I had a lot of time between doctor's appointments, so I just sat in the car with the windows down and my feet out the window, and it was hot and it was sticky and it was groggy, and oh my god, it was the perfect weather to read this in. It fit. It was easy to dive into. It was really fun. It was kind of sad, but really soft and gentle. It delved into a lot of important questions. It was really, really wonderful. I highly recommend this book and really enjoyed it. So the premise is that a woman goes missing on their street, and these 2 little girls start to investigate her disappearance and try and find God in the process. I loved this book. I thought it was so sweet and so cute, and it's told from multiple perspectives, but one of the perspectives is the young girls, and the young girls' perspective is so nostalgic and so whimsical, and so much like a young child's perspective would be, and it was written just so beautifully and so well done that I couldn't put it down, and I really enjoyed it. Then 4.5 stars, Girls Will Be Girls by Emma O'Toole. This one enraged me, like, infuriated me. It just stirred all the feels and anger and frustration of a feminist in just words. So many words. I really enjoyed this book, and I really loved what it did, and I learned a lot of things that I didn't really think about, and I saw a lot of injustices that I hadn't really thought about in my own mind. I realized a lot of things that are just basic human interactions that are actually very sexist. It was incredible and really, really just miraculous to me, and I recommend this to anybody who either wants to become or is a feminist. I would recommend this to any of my friends, to any of my family that want to dive into the feminist ideals. I think it's fantastic. I really recommend it, and I think that everyone should read it. Men included. Men included. Because there's a lot of things that happen to women in society that we just automatically assume are normal, and they're not normal. Not only are they not, no, they're normal now, but that's because they've been normalized. But they're not really acceptable, and they're not really okay. And I just, just. So this is my 5-star read for the month. This is Shirley Jackson, The Bird's Nest. I loved this book. It is about a person with DID. It is accurate to the best of its ability. It does use the DID as a trope to make it kind of a plot device, but not terribly. It is just so well done and so well executed and so insightful and so easy to follow, and you definitely get perspectives from different parts of this woman. You get different perspectives from her doctor, from her aunt, who is trying to understand why things are happening that this girl can't explain, the frustration, the headaches, literal headaches, the body aches, the feeling of confusion and frustration and overwhelmness and fear and sorrow and embarrassment. It's just fantastic. It really captures DID. It really captures what it is, how it really functions, how it can manifest itself in people. I really recommend this book. It made it to my top books of the year so far, and it may have made it to my top books of all time so far. I had 2 books that made it to that list this month. The other one is in my Booktubeathon review, so that'll be coming tomorrow. So you can wait. But yeah, absolutely recommend this. If you're looking for something, because a lot of people have asked me what to read if they're looking for something on DID, and you're not trying to find a nonfiction, because nonfiction can be a little heavy with DID, this is really, really, really good. Really good. I really appreciated it. And I will read it again, for sure. I don't know how soon, but it will happen. Alright guys, this has been my July wrap-up, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.